RFD Radio Network's Jim Taylor connects rural routes for you. You can trust Jim every morning for your overnight markets. He gets up early to help keep farmers on top of their game. Here's a bit about his rural routes.
I have the opportunity to cover something different every day and provide listeners with up-to-date markets, news they need to do their job and be successful, from legislative issues to crop updates and weather, of course.
Be it routes or routes, RFD Radio, FarmWeekNow.com, and Farm Week keep you connected.
Spring is here and things are buzzing. Farmers and pollinators are working together to help feed us. In fact, 1 out of every 3 bites of food we eat exists because of bees, butterflies, birds, bats, and other insects. Pollinators are important to our food system and the ecosystem overall. That's why farmers and those in the agricultural industry are working together to protect pollinators through education, research, and conservation efforts. Visit ilagformonarchs.org to join the buzz. That's ilagformonarchs.org.
You're listening to RFD Town and Country Partners, connecting you with the food you eat, the Illinois farmers who grow it, and the food-related events, destinations, and lifestyles that make our state great.
Hey, good day to you. Welcome to Town and Country Partners here on the RFD Radio Network. I'm Rita Frazier. We'll get a report from Jim Crowley and the Outdoors program, some fishing tips for this late April 2019. Love the thought of going fishing. With all this rain and you can't get out in the fields, you might as well think about something else if you can. We're also going to think about ice cream and milk and all things Prairie Farms as we start this segment with Darren Copeland, Public Relations Manager with Prairie Farms. Hey, Darren.
Good afternoon to you.
Listen, we want a complete update on the single-serve grab-and-go milk. We've been on the market now for, what, a couple of months? Yeah.
They've been out at stores for a couple of months. Things are going well, but we'd like to continue to remind folks that the packaging has changed just a little bit from those standard milk bottles that you might have been used to seeing for many years. They're now in a shrink-wrapped bottle, sort of a Coke bottle look to them, and they're vibrant and very bright. You'll notice them right away, but just for anyone who was wondering if the old bottles were coming back, they are going away in favor of the new look. So we just wanted to make sure everybody is aware.
They're sleek and they're easy to hold on to. Now, I know because you shared with this, I think you shared with us a couple of months ago that how you do it, because they are resealable, you can just screw the cap back on, that you take a little here and there. And then so you have a nice, steady flow of Prairie Farms milk throughout your workday.
Yeah, not to mention the great flavors that these new milks are available in, like chocolate malt, chocolate and peanut butter, salted caramel. And, of course, we got strawberry in there, too. And, of course, if you just are looking for whole or 2% or fat-free milk, we've got you covered any kind of milk that you need. We've got all the flavors covered in those 14-ounce bottles.
Love it. Now, we're going to talk a little bit more about ice cream in a minute, but you got me all excited because I asked you about Busch Stadium and the Cardinals, and you definitely have a nice relationship there, especially on Sundays at the ballpark.
That's right. We have a couple of relationships with both Chicago White Sox and the Cardinals. With the Cardinals, if you come to any home game at Busch Stadium on a Sunday when the Cardinals are in town, come out to Ballpark Village next door to the stadium. You'll see the Prairie Farms tent, and we're out there handing out Prairie Farms ice cream and North Star novelties for about 2 hours before the game on game day Sundays.
Love it. And I asked you if I could volunteer, and you said, hey, they probably take all the help they could get because that's sort of a job.
Well, you can imagine how many folks are interested, kids and families. Ice cream and novelties are the perfect treat before a game. It's kind of like hot dogs and nachos, if you will, at the game. We've got the ice cream covered before the game.
Yeah, I love it. So we'll look for that. And the other thing about all the items that we discuss, especially that single-serve milk and your small batch ice cream we'll talk about, But the label, the label means a whole lot. When somebody, that maybe that's not connected to Prairie Farms, when they see that farmer-owned flag and the fact that it is farmer-owned, that means a lot.
Yeah, it sure does. And as you mentioned, with small batch ice cream, we're actually calling that out now in the inner seal. We put a great thank you to our customers for supporting our local farm families. And, we want them to know that when they choose Prairie Farms products, that they're supporting our local dairy families and that, we're a 100% farmer-owned company and that our dairy farm families work hard to produce, the great products that we're able to bring to market, and it's all because of them that we exist today.
So, small batch ice cream. Tell us a little bit more about the launch, and then what flavors you're able to offer.
Yeah. So last week we launched our new premium small batch ice cream. It's ice cream made with just the basics: milk, cream, and sugar. We're just going back to the simplicity of ingredients, but adding the best flavors that we could come up with. Our chef, Rob Lagerlof, has been hard at work developing a variety of great fun flavors like brown butter maple, black raspberry chocolate chip, double dark chocolate. That's just 3 of 25 great flavors that are now available under our new line of premium small batch ice cream. The packaging for this is new as well. They come in 1.5 quart sizes, clean label packaging at the grocery store. They're white. You can't miss them in the freezer. We're really excited about this product. The ice cream is produced at our plant up in Decatur, Illinois, and again with local cream and milk from our families of dairy farmers across the great state of Illinois.
Mm. Those flavors sound ridiculous. Good.
25, and we've got all the basics covered. Of course, for those who are just interested in vanilla and chocolate, we've got you covered there. But if you want to do a little bit of exploring, great flavors to try, and most of them are made with natural ingredients. It's all natural and made with that local milk and cream and no artificial growth hormones, which we're known for.
And packaged right in the heart of Illinois, in Decatur. Good to know. Now, we met, you and I, in Bond County last year at the county fair over one of the milk snacks that you were giving out for free.
Right.
It was a good memory, and I think you handed out a lot of those that day, didn't you?
We handed out a lot of that day, and we continue to hand a lot of milk snacks at all sorts of sporting events, schools, fundraisers. It's become a really popular item. One of the problems, though, that we found with folks that are looking for a milk snack is they're a little unsure of where to find them, and they'll come to us with questions like, well, it sounds great, but where do I find it, and what exactly is it? So a couple of weeks ago, we launched a educational campaign about the milk snack and just explaining exactly what it is and where to find it. And the centerpiece of that education campaign is a new video that now lives on our Milk Snacks landing page, prairiefarms.com. If you go to the Milk Snacks bar, click on Milk Snacks, the video is there at the top of the page. It's also on our social media, Facebook, and Instagram. We just wanted folks to have a better understanding of what the milk snack is. It's like some other chocolate snack cakes that are on the market, but it's different in that it has to be refrigerated, and therefore you don't find it over in the typical snack cake aisle. It's, in fact, in the dairy section. So a little education behind that was we felt was needed to just kind of help folks along as to where to find them.
Yeah, and I like the fact that it's there because it's kind of easy to find, because most people, when they go into those convenience stores, probably make their way to the water, milk, juice, soda aisle. So if it's right there, it's very easy to pick up one and head up to the counter.
Absolutely, and like I said, if you're used to going left to pick up a snack cake, maybe this time make a right and head over towards the dairy section. Those, like at Walmart, they're typically near the where we'd find the pudding cups and some of the other single serve dairy snack items. That's usually where you'll find them.
Talking to Darren Copeland, about a minute and a half left here, Darren. You are really trying to get some extra rest, do some exercising, preparing for what will be a very busy early summer and late spring as you prepare for June Dairy Month. Lots to come.
Yeah, there's a lot of events in our industry that are sort of surrounding the month of June, which is June Dairy Month, and we'll be doing some things, including kicking off June Dairy Month with an event at the St. Louis Science Center on Saturday, June 1st. We'll be there from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m., sampling milk and ice cream, and we'll have one of our dairy farmers out there with a cow, and if the kids want to stop by, meet a dairy farmer and pet the cow, come on out. It'll be a great event to kick off June Dairy Month. And then we no sooner get out of June, and July is Ice Cream Month, so we'll be doing some partnerships surrounding that, too. More to come on that.
Just so exciting. Anything we missed or anything you want to leave us with today?
No, just, we're just really excited about the new products that are coming out and on the market, and we invite everybody to stop by our website at prairiefarms.com, check out the latest happenings, and visit us on social media at Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Love it. prairiefarms.com. Also there, Darren Copeland, one of the sweetest jobs out there in the industry, Public Relations Manager for Prairie Farms Dairy. Thanks, Darren, and we'll talk to you next month.
Thanks, Rita. Talk to you soon.
And as we mentioned earlier, we'll be along and head outdoors with Jim Crowley in a moment. And time for another special feature from Christina Wilkinson. We'll talk about knitting when we come back. This is Town and Country Partners.
Are you preparing for planting season? We don't mean to be a pest, but here's a few things you need to know before you grow. The Illinois Department of Agriculture now requires special local needs labels, including new restrictions for the use of herbicide dicamba on top of soybeans in Illinois for the 2019 growing season. Did you know these additional restrictions go beyond federally approved labels? Remember, the label is the law. To find out more about these Illinois-specific labels, visit ilfb.org/label-aware.
Hello, I'm Trooper Teal at the Illinois State Police. Since January 1st, 15 Illinois State Police officers have been hit as a result of failure to reduce speed and move over into the other lane. 2 of those officers sadly lost their lives. April is Distracted Driving Awareness Month. Be part of the solution. Put your phone down, focus on your drive, pay attention to the road, move over, slow down, just drive.
A message from the Illinois Farm Bureau and the Illinois State Police.
Welcome to Jim Crowley Outdoors here on the RFD Radio Network. Hey, here's some bait that doesn't stink. Did you know Illinois Farm Bureau members can get discounts on Grainger equipment and supplies, plus free shipping on all standard Grainger products? Find out more about membership at ilfb.org. Back with me today is my very good friend, Matt Cheever from Heartland Outdoors. And if he's not talking about cooking, he's always coming up with something. And I really like what we were talking about, Matt, and that's about repurposing stuff. So why don't you fill in on the rest of the story?
Yeah, well, Jim, in recent light of having Earth Day here, I kind of like to joke around, and typically we think of people that celebrate Earth Day as somebody driving around in a little hybrid car, that lives in the city and kind of condemns a lot of what we do, driving around our big V8s, pulling boats and getting 12 miles a gallon. But, we can contribute a little bit to this Earth Day thing, too. In fact, we most know that farmers and hunters in general do more than most people do.
Sure.
As conservationists especially. But, I don't always get the best mileage, maybe do the most green things, but I do like to try to help to not fill in landfills and waste things as much as some. And a few things I've picked up here in the last few years that really helped save me some money, one, and from leaving a big nasty footprint of garbage left behind is reutilizing things. And some of that is pallets. I work at a place where I can get pallets, and I tell you, pallets work phenomenal for duck blinds. One pallet screwed onto a floor upright for the front and 1.5 cut down for the back wall and one over the top. You can build a duck blind for a third of the price if you utilize some pallets. They also work good for deer blinds if you want to leave one out. They work great to brush it in because they got the gaps in the boards. They're just a lot of things like that. We get some 55-gallon plastic drums here at work, and I like to utilize those. I wash them out, cut them up, and use them for fish cribs, which will last basically forever. You don't have to redo them every year like you do Christmas trees when you drop them in a pond. You can attach all kinds of leftover siding and PVC and different things to them through rivets and stainless fasteners, and just use up some things like this. The seed crates that guys get every year and the chemical pallets with the big metal racks around them. Those racks work great to put around your pine trees, keep deer out of them. Also, I like to use stacked firewood in them, use them around, move them around too. But if you start looking at some of the things we throw out and get rid of, there's so many of those things we can use to help with some of the stuff that we buy up and consume for our outdoor passions with blinds and things like that. And I think it's just great to open people's eyes up to not pitching everything in a burn pile or the landfill.
And just all the stuff you mentioned like that, there's always things we can do to repurpose stuff like that. And you are exactly right, that outdoorsmen, above all else, we can always find a better way of conservation, because that's what we do. Hey, Matt, thanks so much for joining us this week. We'll look forward to talking with you again soon.
RFD Radio Network's Rita Frazier connects rural routes for you. Rita delivers passion and reliable information to listeners on the RFD Radio Network. Her radio career spans close to 3 decades. Here's a bit about her rural roots.
I grew up on a small farm. My job today allows me to connect with people from all walks of life and experience opportunity every day. I get to talk about what I love, farming.
Be it routes or roots, RFD Radio, FarmWeekNow.com, and Farm Week keep you connected.
Warmer weather means a longer honeydew list. Your county farm bureau can help you stay on top of your project list and save you money along the way. A Farm Bureau membership offer includes discounts on equipment and supplies from Grainger, plus free shipping on all standard Grainger products. Browse thousands of items from landscaping equipment to power tools. Anything you need to get the job done, Grainger has it. Not a Farm Bureau member? Call us at 309-557-2689 or visit Illinois Farm Bureau online and join today.
Welcome back to Town and Country Partners Radio. I'm Christina Wilkinson. Knit 1, purl 2 is a phrase that we all think of when we think of knitting. And I also feel confident that most of us also think of that little old lady sitting in a rocking chair with her knitting needle clacking away as she makes something beautiful or ugly, depending on, her choice in yarn. However, the reality is that knitting can be very fascinating. At least I think it is, because you can take a simple piece of yarn and then you can either turn it into a scarf, sweater, mittens, or even a piece of art. Active knitter Chelsea Gerberding says that she learned to knit out of necessity, but she stuck with it because she thought it's something that she could take on.
I started knitting because I needed a hat for a Halloween costume that was a knitted hat. And so my mom showed me the basics of how to do that, and I messed it up horribly, and my mom had to fix it. And then I was like, wait, no, I want to go back and learn how to do this properly, so the next time I want something, I can do it myself.
So did you more or less than self-teach yourself, or do you think your mom gave you the basics and then you were able just to play around?
My mom started with the basics. I had a 4-H friend show me more basics, and I had another friend show me more basics. So I learned from friends and then self-taught with YouTube videos and books that give really good picture details.
What are some of the things then, obviously you made a hat for originally, but what then have you gone on to create, or what are some of the different things that you use knitting for?
I like to make blankets. I've done baby blankets for different groups and for different friends that have had babies. And I've done some full-size couch blankets, which go on my couch and are nice and warm. And I'm right now into socks, making socks. It's tedious, but they're really warm, and my toes are always super warm when I wear them. They make good Christmas gifts for friends, too. So.
Well, that's what I think is interesting. My daughters have both gotten into knitting and crocheting, and they make dishcloths. And it's amazing to me at how many people go crazy when they find out that they can make them and they want to pay them money to get them.
Yeah, I've done dishcloths, and it's really funny. I posted a picture on Facebook, and my great aunt is like, I'll buy those. So they can turn into a profit if you want to go that way.
However, a lot of times it is not necessarily cost effective, because buying the materials, especially if you're buying quality yarn, is not necessarily cheap.
Yeah, if you get it on sale, it can be good, and if you're selling it at the right price, it can be good. But yarn can get expensive really fast, especially if you're getting into the heavier sweater or blanket yarns, because they're fancy wools from around the world.
So what do you get out of making it yourself, do you think?
I like sitting and doing something, and at the end I have made something. I don't sit still very well, so if I'm sitting and watching a movie, I have to fidget with something, and if I'm going to fidget with something, I might as well have some nice warm socks at the end of it.
So do you think then that this is something that maybe if people are looking for that little extra something that maybe they could do, that it's just a benefit for them?
It is a benefit. I've actually seen studies done where it can help reduce stress and helps you focus on something. If you've got something doing with your hands, it helps your brain kind of think of other things. So that's what I like to do about it.
Any advice you give to people that are considering maybe, getting into knitting?
Look for knitting groups on either Facebook or in person and go find somebody that can show you how to do it.
I know that our local library actually has that where they can, come in and you can sit as a group and then work on different projects and maybe you can get help that way.
Yeah, the local library is really good. Also, I know Joanne's offers classes, and I know there's a couple of different Stitch and Bitch groups in Springfield that will offer advice and help and tips and tricks.
Now, have you found if you've gone to any of those, do you see a certain age category or do you see it across the board?
I see it across the board. There's a lot of younger people that are getting into knitting, and there's also older people that are just starting too. So it doesn't matter what age you start. It's across the board.
I know another thing is too that instead of just necessarily making clothes, my mom used to make like craft stuff and use the knitting technique to help, finish it off.
Yeah, I've seen lots of little stuffed animals, too, that would make good Christmas gifts. And I've seen for the NICU unit, they make octopuses for the babies for them to grab onto so they're not pulling wires out of whatever it's attached to.
And that would be, that could be also something as a community service project if your students are looking for something to do, and it can be beneficial just across the board.
It's awesome.
Thank you very much, Chelsea Gerberding. Now, a great place you can look for some inexpensive yarn is your local thrift store. You'd be amazed at some of the things you can find at your local thrift store. I know that my husband's aunt has found some really great yarn, and she's paid next to nothing for it. And I will confess, my mother did teach me the basics of knitting when I was a child, but I've long since forgotten how to even start. And I do think it is awesome that my daughters have taken up the craft, and I will hopefully one day sit down and once again learn how to take that simple piece of yarn and turn it into something beautiful. For Town and Country Partners Radio, I'm Christina Wilkinson.
Thank you so much, Christina. Never know which direction she's going to take us. Always something informative. Let's give you a preview of this week's guest here on Town and Country Partners. Tomorrow we'll talk to Ben Temple and talk more about the Illinois Farm Bureau Collegiate Spotlight as well. Tasha Bunting, also from the Illinois Farm Bureau family, is here talking about the livestock industry. And Frank Butterfield, a favorite here on the program, is in for Thursday's program. He'll be talking about interesting things here in the state, and we'll circle back and talk about the big list, the 2019 list of historic buildings here in the state that are now on the endangered list. That means that they're going to get attention and love here in the state of Illinois. Thanks for being a part of this program. I'm Rita Frazier for RFD.
Thank you for joining us for RFD Town and Country Partners. Get out and enjoy Illinois.